ready? All right. I think we're good to go. Let's get it, baby. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Welcome back to another episode of the Late Night Show with your host, Dr. Kojo. We're here. We're talking about the first time that I ever took ADHD medications. So we got a story time primed for y'all tonight instead of 5 signs that you may X, Y, and Z. So we have a story time primed for you all. So let's go ahead, get comfortable, get in your seats, get situated. Use the comment section to let me know where you are checking in from and your name if it doesn't already show. We are streaming live on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, both my channels, Twitch, Kick, and TikTok. So we're streaming live to 6 different platforms, including LinkedIn, which is pretty cool. Patrick is checking in from the UK. Patrick, how are you? You're early. Now I'm late. And try to make this work. Now I'm late. Mickey, Vicky. Ghost, I appreciate that. Sorry to keep you waiting, but that put a smile on my face that people are waiting for the notification. Let's get it. I try not to clap too hard because people have messaged me. Multiple folks have messaged me and said, "Hey, when you clap so loud, it disturbs me." So I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna clap. I'll find other ways to stem. I like to clap as a stem, but I'll find other ways to stem. All right. We have Laguna Niguel, California in the house. Okay. Andrea from the Oak. Maine in the house. Maine. Okay. On TikTok, we have Curtis checking in from Ghana, my homeland. Okay. Let me see. Oahu, Hawaii. Is that how you say it? Oahu, Hawaii. We have somebody checking in from Poland who did not sleep at all. It says Poland is crazy right now. What's going on in Poland for you to not get any sleep? My day was good today. I didn't get the best sleep last night. So I was preparing for today to be a long day, but today went by fast. Today was a really good day. All things considered, today was a really good day. When you get to a certain age, if you don't get sleep, it destroys your day. And sometimes it destroys the next day after that. So I'm fortunate. In this live stream, probably cap it off at like 45 minutes because I have a meeting that I got to get to. And then I have to get to bed early tonight to catch up on sleep. We can't catch up on sleep, but catch up on sleep. Leilani, our moderator, is checking in from New York City. San Juan Capistrano. Okay. Augusta, Georgia in the house. All right. Give an intense golf clap. Is that a golf clap? That's funny. Someone says, how many times you train in the whole week? I work out 5 times a week. I have not been to the gym all week because I got into a car accident on Sunday and I was sore for about a day or two. And I feel better now, but I'm taking it easy and I'm not going to the gym, which is really frustrating me because when I don't go to the gym, I don't know what to do with myself. Bradley's asking about the new Titan Stadium. Check that out, Nashville. Look. We have Denmark in the house, Barbados, Idaho in the house. Okay, Hawaii. If you're up, right, then you're all right. Right, I'm all right. I'm all right. I am all right. We have Iowa in the house as well. Okay. A lot of people checking in from all over the world to hear about the first time that I took ADHD medications. The conversion from raw dogging to getting help was a pivotal moment in my life. And we'll let a couple more people join the live stream and then we'll get into it. But it was a moment that changed my life. And I don't think that I'm here without getting help for my ADHD. I really don't think that I'm Dr. Kojo with 6 million followers and 1.5 billion views that we got last year on social media. And this big platform, I'm nowhere close to what I've achieved, what we've achieved without me getting help. Getting psychiatric help, mental health help, medications. I needed to get help. And that story is the one that I'm going to tell today. That story is the one I'm going to tell today. Speaking of people on TikTok, says, looking forward to seeing you in Detroit, Michigan on September 11th. Bradley, I can't wait to see you September 11th in Detroit. Turn me up. Turn me up. How long did it take to build that physique? Honestly, 4 years. 4 years of being in the gym consistently. I know. It sucks that it has to take so long. Let me read out my comedy dates, and then we will get into the story time. That'll give people some time to, grab a seat and prepare to listen to this story about taking ADHD medication. Actually, I'm drinking without somebody dropping the magic word in the chat. Can somebody drop the magic word in the chat so that way I can drink? I took an unauthorized sip. So I do apologize, chat. I took an unauthorized sip. Please forgive me. Please forgive me. Please forgive me. Someone says, I wish I could say that consistent. I had a good gym buddy. Who would literally come to my house and grab me out of the house, say, Coach, let's go to the gym. I'm like, but I got this girl coming over. Come to the gym. Big cheers, y'all. Hydration break. I don't know if y'all have been hydrating throughout the day, but a lot of us forget to drink water, and water will solve the majority of our problems. This is a Nello drink. They have like L-theanine and different things like that in there. And I'll make some TikTok shop videos about it because I use it every single day, but I'll get to that later. Big cheers, y'all. Blue-eyed winner. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And Kai on TikTok says, I haven't taken a sip of water today. I don't know where you are, Kai, but it's 7:50 p.m. on the West Coast, which means it's 10:50 p.m. on the East Coast. You haven't had any water today? That's not good. That's not good. That's not good. Sarah, I'll be in Little Rock, Arkansas. August the 8th. It's a Saturday night. August the 8th. How much are the tickets? Let me see. You should show up. Make it freaky. So it's $39. It's like $40 with the tax. Then I think it's $60. No, it's $60 for the meet and greet. Okay, that's Little Rock, Arkansas. So yeah, Little Rock, Arkansas. That is August the 8th. That's a Saturday night. We'll be at the Nut House Comedy Lounge. What a name. They call it the Nut House. That's what people call my favorite place of employment, the psych hospital. They call the psych hospital the Nut House. I don't call it that. Psych hospital is just home for me. It's home for me. All right, let me read out my comedy dates so that way you all can see if I'm coming to a city near you. So the very next show is going to be in Springfield, Massachusetts, July 25th. That's a Saturday night. The next show after that is going to be in Beverly, Massachusetts, July 26th. It's a Sunday night, 6 p.m. The next show after that, we're going to be heading off to Little Rock, Arkansas, August 8th. That's a Saturday night at 7:30 Central Time. After that, the very next week, we'll be in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, August 14th, Friday at 8 p.m. Central Time. That's a lot of West Coast to East Coast, to West Coast to East Coast flying. I'm mentally preparing for all this flying right now. I will be in Huntsville, Alabama, August 16th, Sunday at 8 p.m. Central Time. September 11th, Friday at 7 p.m., I will be in Detroit, Michigan at the Comedy Bar. That's September 11th, Detroit, Michigan. September 17th, I'll be in Chandler, Arizona, which is in the greater Phoenix area. Thursday, September 17th, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. September 23rd, I'll be in Cleveland, Ohio. September 24th, I'll be in Columbus, Ohio. September 30th, I'll be in Virginia Beach, Virginia. October 1st, I'll be in Richmond, Virginia. December 3rd, I will be in San Diego, California. And we may add some shows in October and November. We'll see. I have to keep in mind my energy levels while the traveling. But that's the schedule that we have right now. That's the schedule that we have right now. Someone says, gotta do Oregon. I just came back from Portland on vacation and I nearly lost my life. Got into an accident. But I'm good. I'm as you can see, I'm alive and kicking. Someone says you should consider Indianapolis. Oh, I'll try. I'll try. Hey, that is quite a schedule. Someone says, did I miss New York City? New York City was June 11th. So we already had a show in New York City. Unfortunately. Oh, it's a comedy show. So I'm telling jokes and telling stories. I'm telling jokes and I'm telling stories. Denise is an autism mom, survives off of Pepsi and coffee. Okay. People say time is moving too fast for years to build physique. Right, that's the thing about working out. You'll never regret a workout, but you'll kick yourself for not going. And 4 years flies by, guys. I'm 33 now. 4 years ago, I was 29. I don't know where time is going, but time is going by really fast. It's going by really, 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 really fast. Really fast. Yeah, Portland is weird, but when I had the accent, people were super nice and people came to check on me. And there was even one guy who waited 2 hours with me until the cops came. So the people of Portland were super nice. And I want to believe that that's an isolated incident with somebody who stole a car and was trying to get away. And they ended up hitting me sitting in a parked car eating pizza. So yeah, crazy story. But the story that I want to talk about today for real, is the first time that I took ADHD medications. All right. Let me take you all back to the year 2017. It's 2017. I'm a second year graduate student at Augusta University. The degree that I'm pursuing is a DNP, Doctor of Nursing Practice degree. And if I get this degree, it will allow me to practice as a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner. And it will also give me opportunities to teach at the highest level because I will be getting a doctorate. So I am 2 years away from becoming Dr. Sarfo, but I'm having a couple of issues in my life. At the time, I'm in a relationship. I'm in a relationship at this time. The relationship is up and down, as most relationships are. But one of the biggest arguments that I would have in this relationship is the fact that I was not making time for my woman, which is not, something that's specific to me. A lot of guys will hear from the woman and the woman will say, hey, you're not spending enough time with me. Like, we need a bond. We need a bond. I need to spend time with you. I'm like, we spend time at night together. We do cool things at night together. She's like, no, we need to spend time. I'm like, all right, I'll spend time with you on the weekends. And I would tell her that I would spend time with her on the weekends, but the weekends would come and then I would not spend time with her because I ran out of time to do my stuff that I needed to do Monday through Friday. So I would have to catch up on the weekends. Mind you, I'm also still working at the psych hospital as a registered nurse. And this is how my work schedule goes. I work from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. at the psychiatric hospital. After my shift is done, I clock out. I go to the nearest gas station. I throw some water on my face. I put lotion on my face. I change out of my scrubs. I put on a suit. I drive back to that same psychiatric hospital, and then I shadow a psychiatrist for 8 hours. Like I said, I had been up for 8 hours already. Now I have to go to the gas station, freshen up, drive back to the psychiatric hospital, go to a different unit. And now I have to shadow the psychiatrist. This year is 2017, Leilani. I have to shadow the psychiatrist. So I'm at the psych hospital learning about psychiatric drugs. I'm learning about Zoloft and Lexapro and Wellbutrin and Zyprexa and Abilify and Risperdal. I'm learning about mental health conditions. I'm learning the difference between bipolar 1 and bipolar 2, which it took me 3 months to figure out the difference between bipolar 1 and bipolar 2. For some reason, I could not understand. So I'm rotating with the psychiatrist and I'm learning how psychiatry works. I was doing a good job rotating with the psychiatrist. And every now and then, if you've ever gone to medical school or nurse practitioner school, you'll know that the psychiatrist will ask you random questions in front of other people to challenge you, to see how much knowledge you have. They call it pimping. All right. Not the type of pimping that you're thinking about the color pimping. So the psychiatrist would ask me random questions and I'd be tired, but he would say, Kojo, we have a patient who came in first break psychosis. Their drug screen was positive for cannabis. What should we do? What's the very first thing that we should do? And then I would say, okay, well, we can give him Haldol or we can give him Zyprexa, but we should ask about, substance use history. We should ask about family history. And I would answer the questions correctly. And the psychiatrist would say, Kojo, you're doing a great job. You're doing a great job. Keep it up. You're going to be really good at psychiatry one day. So I'm making progress in my program. I'm still working as an RN throughout the nights because I have to financially help not just myself, but also my family. My grandma, she's getting older, and I got a girlfriend. Girlfriends are expensive. All right. So women just cost money. Women don't realize how much money they cost, but it costs money to go to the Cheesecake Factory or to go to Cheddar's. I was in Augusta, Georgia, so I'll go to Cheddar's a lot. So I'm at a point in my life where everything is hitting me all at once. And most people who receive help for ADHD, they don't just wake up one day and say, oh, I'm finna go to the doctor and I'm about to go get tested for ADHD. No, you Google ADHD assessment near me only when you've hit a breaking point. You have to hit a breaking point where you can no longer go any further. You know that you need some help. So I'm in my relationship. We're on the verge of a breakup because I'm not keeping my promises. Then I go home, and my mom will be angry at me because I would not go to church on the weekends because I was tired. I'm pulling 16-hour shifts, essentially, Monday through Friday. So I didn't have time to really go to church. I would sleep on the weekends. So my mom is in my ear about, Kojo, you got to go to church. You got to go to church. Then my grandma's like, Kojo, I need some money. My dad's like, hey, Kojo, I need this and that. I'm helping out my parents on one end. I'm neglecting my self-care because I'm working 16-hour shifts. I'm taking psychopharmacology, which is a very difficult class because unless you're familiar with psych drugs in general, it's just a lot to deal with. So I'm taking a challenging course. Then on top of that, I am in a relationship with a girl that I actually really like, but I can't make time for her. I forgot one more thing. I also had a part-time job. So I had 2 jobs and I was in school. This is a lot. I had a part-time job as an adjunct faculty professor. So a couple of times throughout the semester, I would take a group of 8 nursing students and I would bring them to the psychiatric hospital and I would teach them about what we do at the psych hospital. So that was a super fun gig. It made me comfortable with talking to large crowds of people because I started with 8 students. 8 students at a time. We will go across the whole psych hospital. We will learn about what would bring somebody to a psych hospital, how you get discharged. We have to have these keys on us. These keys allow us to get in the hospital. It allows us to get out of the hospital, the whole shebang. So I got 2 jobs. And I'm rotating with the psychiatrist throughout the day. I'm in a relationship that's about to fall apart. And we did break up later on, but for different reasons, all right? But this time, I was trying my best to keep it together. I'm having all this pressure at home. My mom's in my ear about not going to church. And I'm like, all right, you know what? I got to move out. I have to move out. And I did move out. And it cost me, I took out a personal loan to move out. That's how desperate I was to move out. I took out a personal loan with a super high interest rate to move out because I needed my peace of mind. I was going to lose my mind. Guys, I was going to lose my actual mind. I was at my wits' end. I was at the end of the road. But before I got my own place, I studied one day with a friend of mine. Who was in medical school. So he was always studying. He was always at the library. And he was like, Kojo, I have watched you for the past year and a half that we've been friends. And you do a lot of the same things that I do. Have you ever thought about being checked out for ADHD? I'm like, oh, I know I have ADHD, but it's just something that I have, but I never thought about getting, medications for it. I just, I've had ADHD my whole life, but I'll be fine. He's like, Kojo, you have ADHD like me, but I get extra time on my tests. I get these medications that I take that allow me to focus. And I'm like, do say more, do say more. And then he told me about how he went to the doctor, he got assessed for ADHD, he got the diagnosis, he started to take Ritalin. And after he started to take Ritalin and after he got more time in his test, his grades went like this. And right now, he's an emergency medicine physician. So his meds helped him get through school as well. But he was at one point a struggling student like me. And I said, all right, that's it. That's it. If I don't do something, I'm going to fail out of school. And at that time, my lowest grade was a 60 something. I think that was in psychopharmacology. A 60 something. A 60 something. If you fail one class, you're out of the program. You fail one class, you're out of the program, and we're almost at the halfway point of the semester. In fact, if I fail one or two more tests, I'm done, and they're kicking me out. So I'm like, all right, you know what? I could fail out of this program. I may never become Dr. Kojo, but I'm not going to go down without a fight. I'm going to go down swinging. So I decided to finally get some help for ADHD. I made an appointment at Center for Primary Care in Grovetown, Georgia. I'll never forget it. I took the first available appointment that I could get with my primary care doctor. And this is what I tell folks who are stuck and they want to know where to start when it comes to ADHD. I say, look, it could take you 3 to 4 months to get in with a psychiatrist. What about your primary care doctor, the person you see every year for your checkups? Some primary care doctors are actually comfortable with diagnosing you and prescribing meds for ADHD. Fortunately, mine was. So I took the first available appointment with my doctor, Dr. Peterson, Dr. Scott Peterson. I still remember his name and I still remember his face. A fellow with orange hair, glasses, jolly old fellow, always smiling. He went to school in West Virginia. He had this painting in his office, and it had the West Virginia Mountaineers football team there. And we would talk about West Virginia from time to time. I go in, I say, hey, doc, I know I have ADHD, but I need you to assess me. Do the full thing because I am struggling right now. I'm about to get kicked out of my doctoral program. My girlfriend's about to break up with me, or I'm about to break up with her, or one of us is gonna hurt each other. Not like, in a bad way, but like we're gonna go at each other's necks. I have all this pressure at home. I have no peace of mind. I'm behind on schoolwork. I'm behind on bills. And when I go to the library to study, it takes me 3 hours to even start the studying. And with ADHD, whether you have it or whether you know somebody who has it, one of the things that we struggle with the most is avoidance. We love to avoid. We love to have to-do lists that can be 3-4 pages long, color-coded, neat, organized. When it comes to creating a plan, the plans that we create, I don't think anybody does it better than us. The issue is the follow-through is very difficult. The follow-through, that's the part where we struggle. But guess what? If you don't follow through and take action on the things that you want to do, you're going to be anxious. And the only way to defeat anxiety is with action. So I'm telling the doctor all this. I'm pouring my heart out. I'm like, doctor, I need some help. If you can't diagnose me, if you can't prescribe me anything, like whatever you do, doctor, like help me out. If you have to send me to a psychiatrist, I'm okay with that. I'll do whatever, because at this point, I'm desperate. An hour later, the doctor finishes the assessment. He asked me questions about my childhood. What type of a kid was I? How long have I had a hard time focusing? He asked me about what's going on in my life right now, my sleep patterns, my eating habits. He does pretty much a full psychiatric evaluation. He's a primary care doctor who did a full psych evaluation, which is impressive when you're a primary care doctor, because I do psych evaluations, and I mean, it's easy to me now, but it's a fairly complex sort of thing. So after the appointment's over, he's like, all right, Kojo, I diagnosed you with ADHD, combined type, hyperactive, and inattentive. And what we're going to do is we're going to put you on some medications. And I think that you struggle to initiate tasks in the morning. So what we're going to do is we're going to put you on medications. And normally I start people on one medication at a time. But you're a guy that has a lot going on, and your days are longer than the average person's days. So what we're going to do, we're going to give you an instant release form of Ritalin. We're going to give you Ritalin IR. You take this in the mornings, and then later in the day, you take your long-acting stimulant. And guys, if you know anything about ADHD and ADHD meds, this is backwards. This is not how we do things. Whenever somebody's taking 2 ADHD meds, a long-acting and a short-acting, you take the long-acting in the morning, then you take the instant release in the middle of the day, maybe 1, 2, 3 p.m., because your long-acting is wearing off. So you need a little bit of the, instant release to get you through. But my doctor being so smart, and I also do this to my patients now. My doctor being so smart was like, all right, Kojo, we're going to flip things around because you have a hard time starting things. And because the instant release works faster, take the instant release in the morning, take the long acting later in the day. And that right there was a huge game changer for me. I went to CVS, I picked up my medications, and my doctor already told me that the appointment, we did it at a late time. The appointment was at 3:30, 4 o'clock. He said, don't take anything today. Actually, no. I take it back. He told me that I can take the instant release, but don't take the long acting. So I went to CVS. I picked up the medications. I knew that I could take the instant release, and I want to say it was Ritalin. And the long acting I had was Concerta, right? And Concerta is this long acting methylphenidate, which is Ritalin. All right. So I go to CVS, pick up my medications. I take the instant release version of the Ritalin. I drive to my girlfriend's apartment. And whenever I go to my girlfriend's apartment after a long day, the first thing that I do is I go and I play with her butt. I like to play patty cake with her butt. Patty cake, make me a patty cake. Make me a cake as fast as you can, and then take off your pants. That's how I like to show affection. I like to play with your butt, and then I'm like, "Are you busy right now? Are you busy? You want to go hang out with me in the room? You want to cuddle and then do something else?" That's how I like to show affection. This time, though, I walked into my girlfriend's apartment. Instead of playing with her butt or trying to weasel her into taking her pants off, I went straight to her. I gave her a kiss, and I went straight into her room. And I know she was thinking, what's going on? Because this is not Kojo. Kojo normally, he'll come home and he'll linger around and he'll be talking about the most random stories or talking about the Titans, and he wants me to take my pants off. And I did have a rule where I told her, I said, hey, when I come home, just dish the pants. Like, even if we don't do anything, just dish the pants. Because I like to distract myself. Because whatever I have to do, I want to avoid it anyway. But on this particular day, came to her apartment, kissed her, went straight to her room. I opened up my laptop, just like this. I opened up my laptop, all right? Whenever I opened my laptop to study or to do homework, before I log into the school portal to actually do my work, I would go to ESPN or YouTube and I would watch Titans football highlights from anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. Because I like to distract myself. I want to avoid doing what I have to do. So instead of studying, I mean, I'll get to sitting eventually, but I gotta watch my Titans online. I gotta see what LeBron James did. Like, I have to watch the funny videos. I have to see Sports Center top 10, all of that. But on this particular day, instead of going to ESPN or YouTube, I open up the laptop. I log straight into the portal. I look at the assignment, take out a pen, and I start to rewrite my notes from the lecture in the morning. I then go answer the quiz. I knock that out. I go on to the next assignment. I'm working. Boom, 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 boom. Knock that out. I then move on to the next assignment. And I'm doing this in consecutive order. After maybe 2 hours of working on my homework, I was done. I was done, and I had time left in the day to just think or do whatever I wanted to do. And this was foreign. Like, I could look outside, kind of like right now. Like, there's still some light outside right now on the West Coast, as you can see. So it's not completely dark, but the day is ending. It's 8:14 p.m. The same sort of thing happened to me. I looked outside, and we still had some light. We still had light, and I had time left in the day to do whatever I wanted to do. I had never, ever, ever experienced that in my life before. Because normally I'll work into the wee hours of the night. I'm playing catch up. I had never seen myself have so much time, and it blew my mind. And that's when I realized that my whole life, I have been at a deficit, and I have been working 3 times harder than everybody else. And mind you, I'm somebody who I graduated with my nursing degree when I was 20 years old, and I was voted most outstanding student. And if you go back to West Alabama today, there's we have this little wall of fame, like this, there's like a little engravement of my name on the campus of West Alabama right now. So they've commemorated my achievement, and they've engraved me into the history of West Alabama for winning most outstanding student and also distinguished alumni. They gave me that award in 2019, the distinguished alumni. I did all of that with no ADHD medication. I raw dogged all of undergrad. And the reason why I think I was able to get through undergrad and be successful is because I had no other choice. Came from a family that didn't have a lot of money, like broke, food stamps, Section 8. So I didn't have that many options. You either pass these tests and make something out of yourself, or you go back to poverty. And I didn't like how poverty tasted. So I said, hey, I have only one choice. I'm going to put my head down, and I'm going to knock it out. I will get this degree. And I got the degree. And a lot of people who don't want to get help for ADHD will say, well, I've come so far without it. I've come so far without medications. So what's the point in getting meds now? And Patrick, Section 8 is just another term for the projects, low-income housing. People say, I've gotten this far without the medications. Like, is it really that necessary to go get on the meds now? I'm 25, I'm 35, I'm 45. I've done my whole life without meds. Like, do I really need it? Do I really need the meds? And I thought that too, because I, by anybody's metrics, I was a success at 25, 26 without the medications, but I hit that breaking point. And I believe that everybody who has ADHD, you hit that breaking point at some juncture in your life, whether it's perimenopause, whether it's a divorce, whether it's school. A lot of times school will be the breaking point, college, grad school, if not undergrad. Something will get you, and you realize that the things that worked in the past no longer work, and the capacity that you used to have is not like this. You can only do 1 or 2 things in a day. You used to be able to do 5, 6. Now you can only do 1 or 2 things. Your capacity has dwindled. You've hit a breaking point. And it's at that point where the additional assistance will make life easier for you. And Ghost, I'm not saying that meds are for everybody, okay? I'm not saying the meds are for everybody. But in my experience, when I realized that I was working 2, 3 times harder than the average person to get a fraction of what they were able to do done, then I said, okay, this is crazy because I'm taking these meds and oh my goodness, I'm able to focus. And sometimes you'll take your medications and you'll focus on the wrong thing. All right. So every now and then you'll have days where the focus is not where you would like for it to be. But the number one thing that the medications did for me is they helped me with task initiation. Task initiation. And you can get help with this part of your life without using meds. If you're body doubling, if you have somebody who's hovering over your shoulder who says, I'm going to stare at you until you start those dishes. I'm going to stare at you until you open up your laptop and you start your homework. If you have somebody who does that for you and they follow you around and that gets you to start your work, that's the same thing, guys. That's the same exact thing. For me, I use medications to artificially give me that boost to start the thing that I had been avoiding. And confronting all the things that I would naturally avoid changed my life. Not only did I turn things around that semester, I was able to graduate with a B. I think I got a B in that class. Went from failing to a B. And the rest of that program, I got B's and A's. I was never flirting with an F or a D or a C. My grades went like this. My grades skyrocketed. My relationships improved. Even though I did break up with that lady, the relationship improved because now I had time to actually spend the weekends with her. And it's one thing to say, oh, I'll spend the weekends with you and not do it. And a whole other thing to never promise that. But I was over promising and under delivering. And when you have ADHD, sometimes we do that. We get so overzealous and we're like, oh, I can do all this. I can take a shower. I can brush my teeth and I can eat breakfast in 7 minutes. I can be out the door and I can get to work on. No. We become so overzealous and we underestimate or we overestimate what we can do in a short amount of time. But we underestimate what we can do with a lot of time. So me getting on medications for ADHD truly changed my life. It's a pivotal inflection point in my life. And for people who take psychiatric medications, you'll know that when you start taking these meds, you're not supposed to stop without telling your doctor. All right. And I tell my patients the same thing. Don't stop without letting me know. Like, consult. You don't want to, self-taper off the medications. You want to gradually go down. But multiple times in my ADHD journey, I have taken myself off the medications just to see how well I would do without it. And I've been able to do okay for fairly long stretches of time. However, anytime I've taken an extended break off the medications, something happens that reminds me why I need to be on the medications. And I'm not saying that I have to be on these meds for the rest of my life. I don't think that I'm going to have to be on them for the rest of my life. Definitely, the better my system gets, the less I would need them. And I like to take them at a fairly low dose because I don't want to build such a high tolerance to where, people who start taking 10 milligrams of Vyvanse need 20, they need 30, they need 40, they need 50, they need 60 before you know you're at 70. Because that's how these medications work. You build tolerance to them. That's just the nature of the beast. You're going to build tolerance to the medications. So who's to say how long I will be on these medications? Point in my life where I really needed the help. The medications really helped me out. And that made all the difference. It's made all the difference. And I look back to 2017 and I thank that version of me for being brave enough to go see a provider and tell them the truth and be upfront for once. Because I'm the type of person to go to the doctor and lie. But what's the point in going to your doctor and lying or lying to your therapist? Like, you're just playing yourself, like, you ain't got to lie to kick it. I say that, but I have to realize that, Coach, you don't have to lie to kick it. You don't have to lie to kick it. Okay. Be upfront, be honest. And that helped me get the help that I needed. And for people who are considering whether to get help or not, the answer is always yes. It doesn't have to be in the form of medications, though. It doesn't have to be in the form of medications. But help, however you can get it, it can make a huge difference. A huge, 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 huge difference. And when I thought back to this story when I was walking my dog and I was preparing for this live stream, I was overwhelmed with gratitude for my whole journey and just the conversation that I had with my friend, the medical student who told me about his experience, and he urged me to go get professional help, because without that conversation, I don't think I would have gone to the doctor, because I knew that you could do something for ADHD, but I'm like, yeah, whatever. Like, I've always stuck it out. I've been raw dogging this long. I can raw dog a little bit longer. Like, it'll be fine. And luckily, I decided to get some help. So that's my story. And I want to get into some of y'all's comments, and maybe I'll have some more stories come up as I see y'all's comments. But let me see what questions y'all have. How do you figure out where on the spectrum you reside? I've been burned out for the past year. Masking is increasingly harder. Well, if you get a formal assessment, that'll give you some insight into what level you're on, level 1, 2, or 3. And even if you're level, some people call high functioning, which people debate whether that's the right term for it or not. Even if you're level 1, you could really be impaired by autism until you figure out a system for yourself. So if masking has become increasingly harder for you, it could be a good idea to just, check it out and see, if you really got that autism. Jared, I don't remember why I switched from Concerta to Adderall. Well, I think I had like the bubble guts. I think I had some diarrhea from Concerta. I remember it could be fuzzy, but I did switch to Adderall at some point. I remember that. Oh, no worries. I appreciate y'all for listening. Women may present differently as right. Women can present differently from men when it comes to ADHD and autism. So that's why this education and these stories are all important, because getting the right diagnosis, even without like formal treatment or whatever, just knowing that you have something, I think it helps you feel better about yourself. You don't blame it on yourself, and you can then put that blame, for lack of a better term, on the condition. I'm an ADHD guy who's diagnosed with MDD. Well, Calvin, what I'll say about this is my primary care doctor never prescribed me an antidepressant, and I definitely think that I was depressed at that time. My depression was coming from the lack of progress that I wanted to make on my assignments. I was depressed because I couldn't get things done. But ADHD medications, and look, guys, I just want to be clear here. And some patients have thought that I get paid more to push medications on people. I don't get paid more to push meds on people. Like I don't. So this is just me talking as like your friend Kojo. I'm not even talking as Dr. Kojo. I'm wearing a USA tank top. I'm not even in Dr. Kojo mode. But one good thing about ADHD meds is that, in my opinion, they double as antidepressants. Like, my ADHD meds have helped to pick up my mood, and it's gotten me out of bed. And it works same day. Whereas antidepressants, you have to wait a couple of weeks to really see, that Lexapro effect, or Zoloft, or whichever antidepressant you're on. Let me see what they're talking about on TikTok. On TikTok, Mello says, masking is eating me alive, but I don't know how to explain this to my doc. Well, you have to give your current doc, a chance to give them a chance to know who you actually are and let them know how hard life has gotten for you. Because everybody who's neurodivergent, at some point, you're going to reach a limit where you just can't mask anymore. Into my assistant. Please don't live stream. Look at me having a meeting right now. We'll push the meeting back just a little bit. I said 45 minutes. Give me like 15 more minutes in the live stream. So yeah, let me see what they're talking about on TikTok too. I was nonverbal until 4th grade. Should I get assessed? Yes. Well, only if you would like to get some answers. But if you're nonverbal until 4th grade, I think it could be helpful to figure out what caused you being nonverbal. It doesn't have to be autism, but something led to you being nonverbal until 4th grade. So, do you still take patients? Well, I still have my private practice, and we see patients in select states. I have like 12 or 13 state licenses, and I renew them every year. And I don't use most of them, but I renew them every year. And we may have some availability later on in the year. I don't want to overload myself with the comedy tour, being on the road, and then being too overloaded. But we will look to have some availability later on in the year for people who live in like select states, the Washingtons and New Yorks and Georgia, Virginia, Texas, Arizona. There's a couple of states. What do you think about carrying deep shame as early as age 5? A lot of people who struggle with shame, it started when they were that young. You'd be amazed how much shame a kid can hold on to at age 4, at age 5. Kids are smart. Kids are really smart. And nobody likes to feel shame. In California, I still have a license for California. I still have a license for California, but we'll have to see if we're taking on any extra people in California. But that is my home state. What's the best way to calm down my wife with ADHD? Well, figure out her language. You got to figure out her language, like what calms her down. Some people, noise can help to calm it down. Some people, they want quiet. So I would say think about what would make her feel more regulated. Or you can just ask your wife, like, hey, how can I best support you? Because sometimes, like as fellas, we won't know how to help out, our ladies. And when we ask them, it's like, oh shoot, like this whole time I was thinking in my head, I could have just asked you. This is funny. The Tay-Days get a hair transplant. This is funny right here. This is really funny. I swear it resonates with some women. My cousin was diagnosed with bipolar, started taking meds, sent her to a dark place, found a new doctor who disagreed, and then found out it was autism. Right. And guys, look, there's nothing wrong with a second opinion. Nothing wrong with a second opinion, because a lot of these conditions look like each other. Autism could look like bipolar, which could look like ADHD, which could look like anxiety, which could look like depression. So having a strong feeling that you've been misdiagnosed warrants a second assessment, a second opinion. Really good questions and feedback in here. Bernadette says thoughts on the Wellbutrin and stimulant route. I've had patients on that combo before and they've done okay, but I can't give thoughts on actual medications. I will get in trouble, and my legal team will send me a message like, Kojo, stop doing that. But the people who've been on my live streams for long, the OGs know that I don't give medical advice. But sometimes people who are new can maybe think that I am, and I'm not qualified to give anybody who I don't have care for. Anybody I haven't assumed to care for, I'm not qualified to give them any type of medical advice. If I don't take my meds, I'm bedridden all day because causing me deep depression because I'm highly ambitious. Yeah, look, some of us need meds, and once again, you don't have to take meds for the rest of your life. What I tell patients is you may have to take medications for an extended period of time, but it's not for the rest of your life, right? Because depending on how life is looking like for you, you may need more support. And sometimes you get into a really good groove and a routine and system to where you don't need medications. So I don't think that has to be like a lifelong thing. Um, Autism and bipolar can look similar. Yeah, there's a lot of overlap with these conditions. Because both autism and bipolar, you can have a disturbed mood, right? If your mood is disturbed in bipolar, it's probably for mania or depression. If your mood is disturbed in autism, it could be because you're overstimulated, understimulated. It could be because somebody is throwing off your schedule. So, an autistic person who is standing next to a bipolar person, at the outpatient clinic, can exhibit the same exact symptoms, but it could be originating from something different. So it's important to, like, let your providers, like, let them do the work. Let us do the work now. Do all the tism. Sometimes max volume, metal music, sometimes complete silence because the facts. And that's the thing about autism. Also, when you have ADHD, like, if the music is loud, but it's your music, then we're chilling. But if somebody else is playing that loud music, and look, sometimes it could be the same song, but it's like, right now I don't want to hear that song. Like, I want to stem to something else. I don't want to hear that song. But maybe later on you could be in the mood to hear that song, and then you're like, okay, all right, play it as loud as you can, as loud as you can. And TikTok, I promise you, I do my best to get to the comments. I'm not ignoring y'all. Let me get to some more TikTokers saying. Gotta turn that down immediately. Can anxiety be mistaken for ADHD? Oh, all the time. In fact, most adults who go to the doctor, the clinics, who have ADHD are actually misdiagnosed with depression and anxiety. Because I think the average doctor, psychiatrist, primary care doctor, PA, nurse practitioner, the average provider is not thinking about ADHD or autism. So if you come in with symptoms that are, because of ADHD, and it looks like it's anxiety, they'll probably just give you some Zoloft and say, hey, come back in a month. Not to say that isn't a bad medication, but good, accurate diagnosis precedes good treatment, right? So the first step to getting good treatment is getting an accurate diagnosis, meaning that if the provider screws up that first appointment, you're kind of screwed. Maybe not for long, but kind of screwed. And no, they can always go back and say, I made a mistake. I now believe that you have this instead of that. And I've done that many times where I've reversed course. I'm like, you know what? I don't think that was the right call. And that's what they call it, practice, guys. They call it medical practice because you're practicing. Like, we could be wrong. Where's your specialty? Psychiatry. I was gonna say neurodivergent psychiatry, but like, I still like researching schizophrenia just as much as autism, honestly. How about social anxiety versus avoidant personality versus autism? Good question right there on TikTok. And sometimes you can have somebody who can have all three. So you have to take it case by case and symptom by symptom and disease by disease, because you can have all three. And sometimes you can have somebody who has social anxiety who looks like they're autistic. And they're Zoe, come here, Zoe. Come here, Zoe. You have water right there. She went to go drink the water from the toilet. Is that what you do when I'm not home? We drinking water from the toilet now? Mickey Ficky. Don't let me just drink water out of the there is a Vraylar, cariprazine. It's funny. One thing that you have to keep in mind is the medications that your psych or your even your PCP, the medication that your provider will prescribe to you is probably something that they're comfortable with. So like the way I practice is similar to my preceptors. Like all the psychiatrists and all the nurse practitioners who train me, like I practice kind of like them, you know. And if you're like like if you just graduated school recently, you graduated MP school, or you became a psychiatrist recently, you probably will use some of the newer ones like Vraylar. But I don't use that medication often. It's not because I'm anti it. It's just not something I use often. Just like a preference. It sounded funny. Yeah, was. This is funny right here. This is funny. Are you practicing with me, or do you actually know for real? This is hilarious. This is hilarious. That's funny. Oh, big cheers. Thank you. I could drink some more. Thank you. Big cheers, y'all. I was just about to say, ask Levita how often she uses Vraylar. Like everybody has their favorites. Brittany says that happened with me, and after I started getting medicated, my anxiety and depression were gone. Thank God I have the best provider. Guys, a lot of this is dependent on the provider you have. You don't have to have somebody who went to like the most prestigious school. I went to Augusta University, guys, and I love Augusta University. I speak highly about my school, but if somebody were picking between me and a psychiatrist who went to Harvard, you probably go with the psychiatrist who went to Harvard because it's a more prestigious name. If you take away my social media, like all that, they probably just see Augusta University and Harvard and go with Harvard. And I get that, and I'm not offended by that. But regardless of what school you went to or how you were trained, it comes down to the provider. And if you really care about the patient, when you don't know, you'll say, I don't know. You'll go find the answer. And luckily, Brittany had a good provider, because one thing with ADHD is if you diagnose it correctly and you treat it right, then the anxiety and depression that comes with the ADHD will be gone. But if you treat ADHD like it's anxiety and depression, and you give medications to treat the anxiety and depression, then it may not work as much as you would like for it to work, because you're not fixing the root cause. So a lot of us who have ADHD, we're anxious because we're not getting stuff done. And we make to-do lists every single day. And sometimes the to-do list that we make daily is just a rehash of what we said we were going to do yesterday. And as I say this, it's painful for me because I'm like, damn, I'll be doing that all the time. I do that all the time. And Kaylin, look, I still don't know why I'm scared of furries. I just know that I'm afraid of them. Now, if I see a furry out on the street, I'm not going to be like, oh. But, I'll be like, hey. But I respect the furry community. So shout out to the furries. Shout out to the furries. That's funny. I'm in Vermont, and I swear no providers understand the neurological brain. And guys, sometimes it's dependent on where you stay too. Like if you stay in an area where there's better providers, like you would have better outcomes. So if you're in rural areas, it's like, and I'm not saying Vermont is like hella rural, like, they have Montpelier, like they have some cities in Vermont that are like real cities, but it doesn't strike me as like, a state that has a lot of big metropolitan areas, or like a lot to choose from. So sometimes if you're in North Dakota or Vermont, like that can affect who you have to choose from as it relates to a provider. And my PCP is the best. Okay. People on TikTok appreciating their PCPs. Dogs are rare where I live, so it's hard to find another. Yeah, it definitely can be. Oh, I'm not from Arkansas. I'm not from Arkansas like Bill Clinton, but I am doing a comedy show in Arkansas. Yes, Little Rock, Arkansas, on Saturday. We have so many dates now. I have to look at the thing. Saturday, August 8th. Be coming to Little Rock, Arkansas. 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 Oh, you unlocked something, Ghost. When I was a kid, I was afraid of clowns. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Y'all are psychoanalyzing me right now, and I appreciate it. Thank you. I was terribly afraid of clowns. I'm not afraid of clowns now, but as a kid, I was terribly afraid of clowns. That could be it. Thank you for the diagnosis. Thank you for the diagnosis. Oh, with the 1 hour mark. All right, okay, all right. I'll answer questions and talk about the comedy tour for 5 minutes, and then we'll get off. Time goes by so fast. My goodness. Yeah, my name is LeBron, and as you may have heard, I'm unemployed and I'm looking for my next team. I'm deciding between Golden State and the Warriors and the Miami Heat. I LeBron. Oh, Jasmine, I appreciate that. Jasmine says, "Good luck with your show." Jasmine on TikTok says, "I appreciate that." And sorry from the bottom, I appreciate you as well. Thank you. It'd be so close to me. I'm in Northwest Arkansas. I don't know where Little Rock is compared to Northwest Arkansas, but we're coming. We're coming there. We are coming. I hate being picked up. Oh, Patrick, why would somebody pick you up? I'm not judging. I'm legitimately curious. Like as a grown man, Patrick, why would somebody pick you up? Or did you hate being picked up as a kid? I could be misunderstanding. It was scary. It was scary. It was scary. The best community is here. It is. Jesse RP on 96 on TikTok. Thank you. I appreciate you. And Elise says, LeBron, come to Seattle. I've been trying to get a Seattle show going for a couple of months now. And I erroneously announced the show in Seattle before the ink dried, and we didn't lock it down. But I'd still like to come to Seattle/Tacoma. A very interesting people. In fact, Seattle and Portland are sister cities. Very interesting people. I would love to come to Seattle. And I think at some point, once I can shake past the trauma of the accident, I may return back to Portland, Oregon, because the people were nice. It's just a very, very interesting city. I've never seen anything like Portland, Oregon, aside from, a homeless lady stealing a car and crashing into my car and totaling it. Just an interesting, Portland's an interesting place. Like I was really at a lounge or a club, or I don't know what you call it, but I was at the Den. That's what it's called. I was at this bar, lounge, club in Portland, Oregon. It's called the Den. I kid you not, guys. I saw security blowing bubbles. They had security on the back. So I'm like, oh, so security's here to keep us safe. Security was walking around like this, and they were blowing bubbles. I was like, okay. Portland is different. Okay. Security is blowing bubbles in the middle of the club in Portland, Oregon. Okay. All right then. That's okay. Security blowing bubbles. I went to the restroom. I'm peeing in the restroom. And then I see a woman walking out of the stall. I'm like, she's like, oh, it's okay. The restrooms are for everyone. I'm like, y'all should have told me this, because there's stalls in the restroom. So I'm like, oh, this is male restroom. This is for guys. A woman comes out of the stall. I'm like, oh no, have I been peeing in the woman's restroom the whole time? Am I a creep who walked into? I'm like, hey guys, I'm not a creep. Like, I'm already defending myself. I'm like, guys, I didn't mean to walk into a woman's restroom. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, hey, like, look, I'm not like a peeping Tom. She's like, no, like the restrooms are for everybody here. I'm like, oh, okay. Okay. So, I mean, I'll definitely have some jokes about all gender restrooms. Slim Thing on TikTok says all gender restrooms are trippy. No, it tripped me out because I'm like, you have to give me a heads up. Like I didn't know. Like I made eye contact with a woman in a restroom. Midstream. I'm peeing. I'm like, sorry, but this is a stall. Like I'm like, how can you pee in the stall? Like, why is this stall in this woman's restroom? This is scary. This is scary. It wasn't that bad once I realized that, okay, it's for everybody. But I was like, hold up, this is like, is somebody playing a trick on me? Is somebody playing a trick on me? My first date, the Portland weirdness. I was buying hiking shoes and Kohl's. Talking about crystals. Yeah, they say stay weird, Portland. So I like the fact that Portland embraces their weirdness. That's super cool. Yeah, no, she stopped me midstream. I'm like, no, this is yeah. And someone on TikTok says, yeah, no, thank you. I don't want no dude coming in the bathroom with me. See, that was my reaction. I'm like, hey, I don't need to be in the restroom with this woman because, like, guys, I know some videos make it look like I'm short, but I'm 6'3", 205 pounds. I'm a large human in real life. So imagine you coming out of the little lady's room. You make a left and you see LeBron James. You see a fake LeBron James peeing. You'd be a bit startled too. You know? She go, I go, like both of us are shocked to see each other. Yeah, Portland, what a place. What a place, Portland. And someone says, my friend's a popular DJ in Portland if you ever want to be behind the craziness instead of in it. Very interesting, Jesse. Very interesting place. Very interesting place. Portland, Oregon. All gender restrooms. Very, yeah. As a woman, it's annoying having little balls. I get why. Look, I get why a woman wouldn't want a 6'3", 210-pound man to be in the restroom at the same time as her. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like if I were a woman and I saw myself in the same restroom, I'd be a bit startled. If I lived in Portland for a couple of years, I guess I would become acclimated to it. But yeah, that's yeah. Once again, stay weird, Portland. Everybody was okay with it. Like, and after that, I saw guys and girls in the same restaurant. Everyone was having a good time. Like it was so normal to them. Like I promise you, it was like completely normal to them. Do you have suggestions on how to manage relationships that will never be where I want them to be because of object permanence, impermanence, and avoidance? Well, actually, what I can tell you is to be upfront with your partner and let them know what you struggle with, whether it's sending them a video or just letting them know, hey, I struggle with these things. Because people aren't mind readers. We have to be upfront about what we struggle with. Our party. I don't think all gender restrooms are safe for children. Look, I don't think all gender restrooms are safe because of people like me. And I'm not an aggressive human being, but like I would startle somebody. Like if you weren't prepared to see me, you would be a bit startled, you know. But once you get to know me, you'd be like, hey, like he wouldn't touch a fly. Like, you know, I'm a friendly guy, you know, like I'm cordial. But just seeing me like at first glance, that's a little jarring. That's a little jarring. I'm not gonna lie. That is jarring. That is definitely jarring. I don't think it's safe for anyone. Yeah, I you know, I'm used to the little boys' room and the little girls' room and the big boys' room and the big girls' room. It's just easier for my brain. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm supposed to be here. I'm safe in here. You know, like I don't like taking dumps in public restrooms, but I can, safely take a dump in, a restroom. If I'm taking a dump in all gender restroom and I hear girls like laughing, I would get scared. Like, oh no, because that's my worst fear. My worst fear is taking a dump in the women's restroom. That's my worst fear, because it's like, all right, if you already started taking a dump, you have to finish it. But then like you hear them talking, so it's like you need them to be quiet or you need them to leave, so that way you can leave, because you don't want them seeing that you were in the restroom. So it's like, okay, shoot, like I accidentally went to the women's restroom, but I'm already taking the number two. Okay. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I gotta finish it. My stomach is hurting, but at the same time, I need to escape this restroom without anybody seeing that I even came in here. I'm so embarrassed right now. Uh, and there are actually real life predators out there. Like I just look scary at first glance. 6'3", 205, but there's real life. Yeah, yeah. I don't want them hearing my splash. Yeah, taking a dump in a woman restroom while Furry watches. Oh my goodness. Overall nightmare scenario for me. My goodness. And Elise says we'll share our pupori. Why Chick's bathroom seat? That's funny. Oh, this is interesting. Gendered porta potties would be odd. Yeah, yeah, but it's different. Like an actual restroom. Um, yeah, but I mean, like if I see, uh, Elise says, "Man, you're a straight up handsome guy. I'd be fine with it." As handsome as I think I am, and I spend a lot of time looking at myself and admiring myself in the mirror, both with and without clothes. I love myself, but I mean, for the greater good, I just, and I'm not saying that I'm a, menacing person, but just for the greater good, um, I would scare a lot of people in all gender restrooms. I just would, you know, like before you're like, oh, he's handsome, you'd be like, man, oh no, oh, he's handsome, but he's still a man, and then also one thing that I thought about, I don't have any kids right now, but I have thought about this. When I have kids, I don't want my kids to be comfortable with like just like a random guy, like who's a big random guy who can inflict pain and damage. You have to, help them compartmentalize, let them know, hey, like your father is a large guy, but he's a good guy, but then there's good guys and bad guys. And I mean, I can just imagine for a woman, like it'd be a little scary. It would be a little scary. It would be a little scary. Some creep set cameras and what? Right. And this is why. Now, I feel like cities like Portland have figured out all gender restrooms. So, like, it was not weird to them. In Portland, they were vibing. So, in Portland, it's cool. But I mean, you have people who do this type of stuff right here. Um, Unfortunately, we have guys who, not just guys who, women can be predators too. So like, let's not forget that fact. Women can be predators as well. It's just that guy predators are just a bit bigger. So from a physical, perspective, they can inflict more pain. But yeah, I will definitely write out my thoughts on all gender restrooms. I'm sure I'll get some jokes out of it because that was quite the experience in Portland. I scared that little lady, and she scared me too. I'm like, you're not supposed to be here. Oh my goodness. What makes someone want to see a person? Yeah, no. There's some interesting people out there, for lack of a better term. Interesting people. Yeah, but that all gender restroom Portland. And that's one thing I like about comedy. It's made me appreciate just writing. Just writing is cathartic. I'm an old head now because now I like to write. I like to get my thoughts out. But yeah. Sorry you had a bad experience in Portland. The restroom wasn't a bad experience. It was just a little jarring. Getting into the accident was, that was the bad part. And Slimothy says it's for inclusivity to help out the LGBT plus community, not to be creepy and weird. And I get it. The all gender restrooms are for inclusivity, and we want to support the LGBTQ plus community. And I'm all for supporting the LGBTQ plus community. However, we cannot forget the fact that there are some bad guys out there and some bad people in general. So, there's a world that we live in and the world that we want to live in. The world that we want to live in, people are nice and everybody's friendly, and you can have spaces where both genders can come in there. But then the world that we actually live in, we got some people out there that are predators that want to inflict pain and damage, and they look for ways to capitalize. So unfortunately, you have to think about those things. You have to think about that, because if you don't, then people will get hurt. But I wish you could just support LGBTQ plus without having to think about the fact that people could be creepy. Leilani says, sorry, not sorry. Look, all right. I know I gotta go, but good debate. Signs don't stop bad people, but it does eliminate it reduces confusion. Because just playing devil's advocate, if you have a male restroom and then a female restroom, right? Only for guys, only for girls, right? And that's what the sign says. If that's what the sign says, and then you see a large man in a women's restroom, and it clearly says women's restroom, then you can be like, hey, you're not supposed to be in here. Or vice versa. Like a woman, it just kind of makes it easier for people who, get confused, kind of like me. And somebody said on TikTok, we had someone that lied in our Target and assaulted a young girl in our restaurant Target. I hate to hear about that. Yeah. And we support all people over here, but we have to think about the fact that we live in a cruel world. Cruel world. All right, guys, I do have to go, but let me read out my comedy dates one more time. Springfield, Massachusetts, July 25th. That's a Saturday. The very next day, we're going to be in Beverly, Massachusetts, which is close to Boston. That's July 26th, a Sunday. The next week, we're going to be in Little Rock, Arkansas, and that's what you see here on the screen if you're watching on YouTube and Facebook. Little Rock, Arkansas, 7:30 p.m., August the 8th, and that's a Saturday. So I'll be coming to what appears to be Northwest Arkansas. Baton Rouge, Louisiana, August 14th. The very next week, we're going to be in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, August 14th. It's a Friday, 8 p.m. Central Time. That same weekend, but on that Sunday, which is the 16th, we will be in Huntsville, Alabama. August 16th, Sunday, 8 p.m. Central Time, Huntsville, Alabama. The very next month, we will be in Detroit, Michigan on September 11th. Friday, September 11th, we will be in Detroit, Michigan. Now, I'll probably do a special segment related to September 11th and talk about my September 11th story and how some of my ex-girlfriends don't have a September 11th story because they weren't born at that time. So that's Friday, September 11th in Detroit, Michigan at the Comedy Bar. The next week after that, we'll be in Chandler, Arizona, September 17th, Thursday, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. That is Chandler, Arizona, which is in the greater Phoenix area. September 17th is a Thursday. The next week after that, we'll be in Cleveland, Ohio, September 23rd. That's a Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. The next day, we'll be in Columbus, Ohio. So Cleveland and Columbus back to back. So if you're in Cleveland, you don't have to drive to Columbus. If you're in Columbus, you don't have to drive to Cleveland because I'm coming in both cities. September 23rd, Cleveland, 24th, Columbus, Ohio. The next week after that, Virginia Beach, Virginia. September 30th, Virginia Beach, Virginia. And I was going to break out into a sad story. I was going to break out into a story, Leilani, not a sad one. Virginia Beach, Virginia, September 30th. That's a Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. The next day is October 1st. Different month, but it's the very next day, October 1st. We're going to be in Richmond, Virginia, October 1st, Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And I haven't been back to Virginia since I left. And that was my first job out of school, forensic psychiatry in Williamsburg, Virginia. So this would be a great return to Virginia. So much has happened since I left, and those two Virginia shows will be very special for me. Very, very special. September 30th and October 1st. The 30th in Virginia Beach, Virginia, which is close to Norfolk, if I remember correctly. And then October 1st, Richmond, Virginia. That's a Thursday. And then the last show of the year, December 3rd, Thursday, San Diego, California. San Diego, California, December 3rd. It's a Thursday. Thursday. All right. So, Lovita. It is a grind. It is a grind. And I have an ADHD brain that I have to do hard things. Like I have to do hard things. And with comedy, last thing before I'll go, with comedy, it is a grind. And you do travel like this. But it's a little hard doing all this traveling when I'm already established as a public figure. It's like I'm grinding. Like, what am I grinding? Like, why am I doing this to myself? Like, why am I going all across the country? But it's a grind, and you gotta love it. You gotta love it, and it's an opportunity for me to connect with my audience in real time. So that's so special. Outside of the box for sure. It is special to me. So I am looking forward to the shows, and like the advice that I give you all, we may have to prepare for these events in advance. So that I've cut down a lot of traveling. I went to Portland last weekend, but I've cut down a lot of traveling in anticipation for all the trips that I'm going to have to take. So right now I'm building up my energy to go on the road. I am building up my energy to go on the road. And someone says, what about your practice? I still see patients, and also my private practice too. But I don't want to do too much at one time. So we'll see when we get the wait list for, more patients later on. So we'll see. We have a good team, so we can manage it. All right, guys. So that is it for the live stream. I'm 5 minutes late, 15 minutes late to this meeting. So I got to head on to this meeting right now with my team. All right. Next live stream will be Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern time, 6 p.m. on the West Coast. And I see somebody, Shauna on TikTok says, do you ever come out earlier? I always catch you right after work when I need to go to bed. Yes, I need to come at the time that I say I'm going to come on, because I came an hour late today. So normally it's about an hour earlier than when we started tonight. So I will work on it. All right, y'all. That's it for the live stream. I'll see you all next week, Tuesday, 9 o'clock New York time, 8 p.m. Nashville time, 7 p.m. Phoenix time, 6 p.m. Seattle time, 5 p.m. Alaska time, 4 p.m. Hawaii time, 2 a.m. United Kingdom time. It's a mouthful saying all that. But I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. And until the next live stream, do your best to get some rest, and I will do the same. Peace.